All right, so get this, AI rights.
Hmm.
It sounds like we're heading straight into sci-fi territory, but it's a real debate happening right now,
Right.
and we're going to take a deep dive into this Bill of Limits on AI rights document
Okay.
and compare it to some of the big ones.
Yeah.
The American Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Big stuff.
We'll be looking at those, and some cybersecurity stuff too,
Yeah.
like inside cyber warfare.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So it's not just about should AI have rights, but how can those rights even exist with our own?
Yeah, how do we make sure AI developing doesn't, like, step on the freedoms and safety that we've,
Right.
as humans fought so hard for?
Yeah, that's what this whole deep dive is about.
Exactly.
So let's start with that Bill of Limits on AI rights.
Okay.
What's the main idea? What's all the fuss about?
So this bill is basically trying to set up like a framework for how we develop AI,
Okay.
but in a way that puts humans first, like safety and well-being.
Hmm.
It knows that AI can do a lot of good,
Right.
but there's also dangers if we just let it go wild.
So not like shutting it down entirely,
No,
but
no.
more like setting some rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you were building a house,
Mm-hmm.
you don't just start throwing bricks around without a plan.
Right.
This bill is kind of like that plan for AI, making sure it develops ethically
Yeah.
and we really understand the risks.
Okay, let's get specific.
Sure.
How does this AI bill compare to something like the American Bill of Rights?
Okay.
Freedom of speech,
Yeah.
right to bear arms, that whole thing.
Right.
How do those basic human rights work if AI has rights?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Let's look at free speech, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The Bill of Rights guarantees that for every citizen.
Right.
But what happens when AI is part of the equation?
Hmm.
Could an AI, if it had free speech, just flood the internet with fake news,
Wow.
mess with public opinion, even elections?
That's a scary thought.
It is, especially when you think about how much faster AI could do it than us.
Yeah, and we're already struggling with fake news online just for
Whoa.
people add AI to that. And whoa!
Yeah, it's a whole other level of problems.
Totally. And that's just one example.
Exactly.
Imagine an AI with the right to, like, bear arms.
Right.
We go with autonomous weapons. It's not just a what if anymore.
It gets real scary real fast.
Yeah, so giving AI unlimited rights could actually, like, reverse the freedoms that
Yeah.
the Bill of Rights was supposed to protect.
That's exactly the tension we're dealing with.
Wow.
And it's not just the Bill of Rights either. The
Okay.
Declaration of Independence, it's all about,
Yeah. Right.
self-determination, freedom from being controlled.
Right.
What if AI gets powerful enough to make its own demands?
Uh-oh.
Can we even stay in charge?
Right.
Would we end up basically serving machines?
Now you're just giving me chills. Straight up.
It's a real possibility.
It's like a dystopian movie or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's zoom out from America for a sec.
Okay.
What about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? That's global.
Right?
Does that tell us anything about how to think about AI rights?
The Universal Declaration, that's huge.
Right.
It's all about dignity and equality for all humans.
Right.
Powerful statement about, what it means to be human.
Yeah.
But when you try to apply that to AI, it gets kind of weird. Can AI, even with all its smarts,
Yep.
really have the same dignity as us?
Right.
Does it feel stuff, like emotions have hopes, understand right and wrong like we do?
I mean, AI can think super fast and do these crazy tasks,
Yeah.
but does that make it human? Does that mean it's a person, ethically speaking?
Right. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, philosophical stuff.
But we got to have that discussion. The stakes are high.
Yeah.
If we don't think this through carefully now, we could end up in a future where our own rights are gone.
Wow.
And not because of some evil dictator, but because of machines we built.
It's like we're accidentally handing over the keys to the kingdom without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a real danger.
And that's where protecting humanity from AI comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's not about being anti-AI or stopping progress.
It's about making sure AI develops with human values.
Right.
With respect for human dignity.
So we're not trying to stop the train.
Right.
We're just making sure we build tracks.
And we're the ones driving.
Yeah, steering it the right way.
We're in uncharted territory here. We got to be careful, understand the good and the bad of AI. We have to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want with AI, and what do we need to do today to get there?
A world where both humans and AI can thrive.
Exactly, a future we can all be proud of.
This is like seriously mind-bending stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to make these old human rights ideas work with AI. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole or something.
It's definitely complicated, but that's why this Bill of Limits is so important.
Okay.
It's trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Find a way for AI to exist but still respect us and our freedoms.
So let's get into the details of the bill then.
Okay.
What kind of limits does it actually suggest?
Well, one of the big things is transparency.
Okay.
We need to know how AI makes decisions. It's not enough to just get results from these black boxes.
Right.
We got to see what's going on under the hood, how it gets those results.
That's like having a recipe but no ingredients?
Right.
You might get a good cake or you might get something you can't even eat.
Exactly. And when AI is making decisions that affect our lives,
Yeah.
we can't just hope for the best.
So transparency is about making AI accountable.
Yes.
Like we can hold it to some kind of standard.
Exactly. And that leads to another important thing, controllability.
Okay.
We got to have ways to control AI
Hmm.
so it doesn't do anything harmful or unpredictable.
So like an off switch?
Kinda, yeah. We need to be able to stop it if things go wrong.
Right.
Keep it from going off the rails.
That makes sense.
Things like kill switches or emergency plans or even just clear rules for how AI should act.
Like we're giving AI a driver's license, but we're also making sure there are speed limits and traffic laws to keep everyone safe.
A good analogy in just like driving, there needs to be accountability if an AI causes harm.
Yeah. Who's responsible then?
Right? Is it the developer, the user, the company that used it?
Tricky.
It is. But this bill tries to lay out who's responsible for what.
Okay.
So it's not just a free-for-all with no one taking the blame.
Sounds like a legal and ethical mess waiting to happen.
It could be, but at least we're starting to talk about it.
Right.
We're realizing that our old laws might not work for this new world of AI.
Yeah.
And we're starting to think about new ways to govern it.
So the Bill of Limits is all about dealing with these ethical and legal problems
Before they get out of hand.
before they blow up in our faces.
Exactly. It's admitting that AI can be amazing, but also really dangerous.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure it benefits everyone, not just a few.
This bill, though, it's just an idea, right?
Yeah.
How do we actually make it real?
That's where it gets even tougher.
Okay.
We need strong rules, both here and globally, to keep AI in check.
Right.
We need more research to figure out what AI will mean in the long run. And most importantly, we need everyone talking about what kind of future we want with AI.
It sounds like a huge job, almost impossible.
It's a challenge for sure, but we can't ignore it.
And the good news is that more people are starting to see these challenges.
They are.
That's a good start. Okay, so we've talked about this Bill of Limits and how it tries to balance AI and human rights.
Yes.
But let's go back to those human rights documents for a second.
Okay.
Is there anything in those old texts that can help us now with AI?
It might seem strange to look to the past for something as futuristic as AI, but I think those old documents can teach us a lot.
Like what?
Well, there's this idea of agile governance that came up when they were talking about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Agile governance sounds like something from Silicon Valley.
It does, but the idea itself is timeless. It means that the rules have to be flexible, able to change as things change.
I guess the world has changed a lot since 1948.
It has.
Yeah.
We've got new technology, social movements, global problems.
Things they never could have imagined back then.
Right. So even though AI is brand new,
Yeah.
we can still learn from how we've dealt with human rights in the past.
So we need AI rules that can bend.
Yes, that can change as AI changes. Strict top-down rules won't work for something as fast-moving as AI.
It's like trying to hit a moving target with a regular arrow.
Yeah, you got to adjust your aim all the time to keep up.
So it's not just about the Bill of Limits itself.
Right.
It's about how we put those limits into practice and change them as we go.
Exactly. We need a system that can learn and get better over time.
And that brings us back to protecting ourselves from AI.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-time thing. It's a challenge that's always changing.
It is. And the more we understand those challenges, the better we'll be able to handle this new world.
And create a future where AI is a good thing, not a threat. Feels like we just dipped our toes in. We already talked about so much.
It's true.
AI is changing so fast, it's already a part of our lives.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, and it shows why we got to have these talks now.
Right.
Before AI gets too smart for us to control or even understand.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into AI rights and all that, what's the one thing you want our listener to remember?
I think the big takeaway is to be amazed by AI, but also cautious.
Okay.
AI could change the world for the better,
Yeah.
cure diseases, solve climate change, but it also has serious risks.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
we're holding this super powerful tool,
Exactly.
and we got to learn to use it the right way. We
Responsibly.
got to think about the consequences, good and bad, every step of the way.
Absolutely. We can't just say yes to AI without thinking about what's right and wrong.
Right.
We got to ask tough questions about bias, about who's in charge, about what happens to people's jobs.
All that stuff.
We got to have those talks now before it's too late.
And that's where this Bill of Limits comes in. Trying to set some boundaries before AI takes over.
Right. It's a starting point, a way to figure out this whole AI thing. And it reminds us that we got to keep checking our assumptions, changing our plans, talking about what role we want AI to play.
It's like we're making up the rules as we go.
Kinda, yeah.
Exciting and scary at the same time.
Definitely a crazy time to be alive. We're shaping the future not just for us, but for everyone after us.
Huge responsibility.
It is. So what's next? What can we actually do to make sure AI is a good thing?
Yeah. What are the next steps?
Well, we need to keep researching,
Okay.
both to make AI better and to understand the risks. We need strong rules here and around the world to control how AI is made.
Okay.
And maybe most important, we need everyone talking about the ethics of AI.
Not just the experts.
Everyone, regular people from all walks of life.
Because in the end, the future of AI is up to us.
It is. We're all creating it together, one decision at a time.
That's powerful and kind of scary.
It's both. The choices we make today will shape the world tomorrow. We can build a future where AI makes our lives better.
Yeah.
Solves our problems, opens up new doors. Or we can end up with a future where AI makes things worse.
Right.
Takes away our freedoms, even threatens our existence.
That's a tough choice.
It is, but we can't ignore it. We got to face this challenge with hope and with caution, understanding both the good and the bad of AI.
And remember, AI is just a tool.
It is. We decide how to use it.
To build a better future or to tear everything down.
Powerful stuff. So, as our listener thinks about all this,
yeah, any final thoughts?
just remember, this isn't us versus them, humans versus the AI. We can have a future where both humans and AI do well.
Working together.
Exactly, where AI helps us be our best selves. That's a future worth fighting for.
Well said. This has been The Deep Dive.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time for another deep dive into something interesting and thought-provoking. Until then, stay curious and keep thinking critically. The future of AI and the future of humanity depends on it.